right, here I go again. I'm going live, and I promise you, one day, I'm going to have this down 100%. I promise. Hello, hello, good morning. Okay, here I go again. There. Okay. All right, hello. How are we today? Today is Tuesday. February the 18th, I believe. Yeah. So, today, I made sure I took notes. Things are going so fast that I said I'm not going to get in the forgetful zone that I did yesterday when I came on live. I did already clear the energy before I came on. I asked my guides, what should I do? And that was what they wanted me to do. Seraphim, my guide, to do everything beforehand, not on. So we're just going to talk about the way things are and what's happening. See this? I wrote it down this time, so I'm not going to forget it. Okay? All right. So one of the things that I had spoke about in my other video, one of my other videos, when I talked about how even though we are in a changing times and people complain that we don't socialize the way that we used to, and I put it in the aspect of we're literally socializing more than what we used to, and we're evolving with the changing times within our socialization aspect. But the point that I didn't make to even connect it even more so with the similarities is that we are becoming more and more telepathic. More and more people are experiencing telepathy. And that goes right along with the energy of communicating through social media, through these platforms. Excuse me, just had some delicious soup. Excuse me. So we're communicating through these platforms, and even though we're not face to face, there is some form of communication. And, just on the woo aspect, the spiritual aspect, that's like a form of telepathy that is taking place, just in a different way. So just a tidbit of what I had said before. Now, what are some of the things that are happening here in these United States? And this isn't to be complaining. This isn't to be staying negative. This is simply to stay aware of what is going on, because there is so much disinformation. And we really have to stay true to yourself and of what you are listening to, where you are getting your confirmation and your verification of what it is that you're listening to. Does it resonate with what's inside you? And I say that to say, there was somebody that I've read their book and was really impressed with the way that they had gotten their information. And yes, it was some time ago, but then when I listen to the person now, up until yesterday, I was like, I can't tell where this person stands. Well, now I know. So within that, it's really important that you're listening to your own guidance of whom you listen to, and you take what it is that is truth to you, that you feel, and leave the rest alone. Try not to go down rabbit holes when it comes down to information that you receive, because when you hear something, um, check within yourself. Just like I was like, kind of like, I don't know if this person is um, on the alignment level that I was thinking. And then I got that confirmation yesterday, and so now I know. And so now I know how to handle things a little bit better if I'm listening to this individual when they speak. So with that being said, because we all get our information from the different areas, but confirm it yourself through your own research. And I know people say that all the time, do your own research, do your own due diligence, find things for yourself. That news outlet, ground news, I see that's a great, it gives both sides, and it tells you like on the scale where it's leaning, right, left, center. And you can also Google. And I say Google because with Project 2025, I did speak of this before, that with all these governmental firings that is taking place, this was already planned. I said before that there was a website that was up. However the connection was made, I never sought out that connection. I was just hearing about it. But you could put in your resume to work within this administration. And up in the Rump administration. And they said that they planned on getting rid of federal employees that had tenure, things that kept them in place. So if you notice, a lot of the firing that is happening, it's people 2 years and under, or people who just received their employment letter. And then those that received it are being canceled. So if you Google Project 2025 training videos, you will see videos there that they have that were in place to train people as to how they want things to be for now. Who is on their same wavelength? Who is in line with what they want to do? So you cannot act surprised or say that you did not know, say that you were not informed when the information was out there, whether it was said on the rallies that he was campaigning on, Diaper Dawn, all the things that he was saying that he was going to do, and he is literally doing them now. And so he also was saying, like with Elon, with the Doge, governmental Department of Governmental Efficiency, they said that they were going to be firing people and letting people know, saying we're cleaning up the waste, but all the waste that they are saying is all coming from Elon, of what he's saying, oh, we found, and they're putting it up as though we found this much. We found people who were like a crazy number, like 500 years old that was receiving or 300 years old that was receiving Social Security benefits, and people who have been dead and over 100 years old and they're receiving Social Security benefits, and people who didn't even have a Social Security number or receiving benefits. All of this information, and a lot of it is misinformation, and it's unverified information because it's only coming from him saying what he found and how, it's wasteful spending and it doesn't need to be. Remember, I shall remind you, taxpayer people, this is your money in the first place. And I really hope it doesn't come down to a protest strike with people saying, I'm not doing my taxes this year. if everybody just stuck together, and I'm not encouraging this, and of course this is all for entertainment purposes only. Do remember that, entertainment purposes only. That if it got so far as to people had to say, okay, let's band together, we're not doing our taxes. Well, they're not receiving the money that they would have gotten in the first place to put into their own pockets. It is a conflict of interest for Elon to be there doing the things that he is doing with his young entourage, claiming that they're brilliant and that they're doing quantum computing, using quantum computers and so forth to figure out, so we don't need all of those people doing this. These people right here can handle it. All of those thousands of people who have been employed in this country for years within the government, the federal government, and building up their 401ks and so forth like that in the way that is the norm for everybody in a career position. They're removing all of that and not even information to have for filing their unemployment benefits, according to some of these people who are speaking. Now, one of the things that, I'm just going to stick to my list because that one came and left. Elon is now, well, first Trump is calling for the agency that was created for whistleblowers to protect them so that people who had information that everybody needed to know about and they come out and so that they can be protected. Trump is calling for that agency to be dismantled. Okay, so no more protection for whistleblowers and the things that they would come out. It's like they're saying Elon is doing that job for them, so to speak, which is nonsense. It's a bunch of bullshit, if you ask me. And I am saying that in the most benevolent way. That I have to stay positive. I have to. I cannot go down this negative alley, you know? You had, like I mentioned, the IRS. So 1,500 are up to be fired that they're saying, but with the IRS right before tax season. Okay, that's issues within itself right there, because there's already a big enough delay when it comes down to filing your taxes and receiving your refund and so on and so forth. Well, now they want to cut even more. They also want to cut even more of VA, the staffing for VA. Here in Georgia, the VA here in the Atlanta area is the busiest VA center in the United States. And they're cutting staff. Cutting. Will end up being problems with veterans getting their appointments that they need to have for medical reasons, including my father, your parents, maybe even you. It's all a breakdown. The FAA, for the how they've already for the airlines, they've already cut the staffing with that. They are calling for, what is it, I think it's 200 additional. They're cutting 200 additional positions with the FFA, and we are watching all these planes crash, planes colliding, planes falling out the sky, planes flipping over. Thank goodness all those people that flipped over on that Delta airline that landed in Ontario, that everybody is alive. And what is really, really great about that, being as it happened in Canada and not the US, there's none of that DEI bullshit being flailed around saying it was somebody that was unqualified, which is a bunch of nonsense. Even to be a pilot for an airline, you have to have, it's something like, I don't want to give the wrong number, but like it's in the thousands of flying hours before you can even be hired within these airlines. So these are qualified individuals. It takes a skilled individual to fly an airplane. I don't know if you've ever done one of the simulators, that PlayStation simulator. I think it's PlayStation. You know, I've talked about me and my techie stuff. It showed at the beginning of this video, right? I'm gonna get it together though. I promise. I promise. Um, if you've ever done even that simulator, the flight simulator, it's tricky. It's not easy. So if you've ever been on an airplane and it was a smooth flight, takeoff and a smooth landing, whenever that occurs, I always tell the stewardess as I'm leaving the plane, tell the pilot, I said, thank you for such a wonderful flight and for how smooth the flight was, because it is not an easy job and they need their proper recognition. So kudos to all those pilots out there that are providing the transportation for everybody in our skies. Okay, so what else is being cut? Oh, now this one is hilarious. Do you remember when I said that they had fired 300, the number it was in the 300 individuals for that were with our nuclear program, federal government, but they were with our nuclear program, with our nuclear stockpile and so forth. And they fired these individuals. And then when they realized who they fired, they reversed that firing status and with the intention of bringing them back. Now, when I did the video the last time on it and spoke on it, I said I didn't know if they have actually come back or not. So the latest 411 on this is upon their firing and upon them deleting their account and everything, so did their contact information. Excuse me. So did their contact information. So they can't even find these individuals to be able to say, hey, you have your job back, come on back. So instead, they've reached out to the current employees that are still working in those departments through email, asking them if they can contact their former co-workers to tell them that they have a job to come back to. That's how these qualified individuals that are in the Doge department cleaning up, so-called cleaning up things, and just firing people to where you're just literally wiping out their information. So how different will this be when I said on my last video that with going into the National Archives, that things could just simply disappear? We don't know. We just do not know. How many more firings that they have? The IRS, I spoke about that. The next audit, oh my goodness, auditing Fort Knox, come on. That Fort Knox, please. HUD, the HUD department, people being fired behind in there. Do you know even that they, okay, so Mississippi, it's either Mississippi or Alabama, but I'm pretty sure it's Mississippi, already is doing that state law about, it mirrors a slave law, to where if you knew a runaway slave, or if you knew someone was harboring, if you knew anything along those lines and you did not report it, then you would be criminally liable. So what they did, instead of just being a slave act, it's an immigration act. So if you know of an immigrant, where they're working, who hired them, anything along those lines, and you don't report it and you knew, then you could be held criminally liable. So along those same lines, they are now wanting to create a law. Once I said, if something can go state, it can go federal. So now they want to create a law that if you help an immigrant and give and help them with their rights and their legal rights, that you too can be held criminally liable. That's the next law that they're trying to pass. man, things are going so fast, so fast. And I haven't even really gone in detail about what is actually happening. Remember Pete Hegseth? Now I'm just going to go ahead and just jump all over the place. Pete Hegseth, the one that then during his confirmation hearing and his drinking was brought up, and he was like saying no, he's a Christian now, and he doesn't have those issues anymore. But yet the whole world saw this man take 2 drinks at the podium of his NATO press conference. 2 drinks. Now that was one of 2 things. Either he is a straight up shaken alcoholic, which I don't think so, may have an issue, I don't know, or this was one of those right in your face, we gonna do what we want to do. I'll have a drink to that. Watch everybody. I don't care if I lied to the Senate. I got confirmed. I'm here. I'll drink to that. That's what that was all about. My opinion. All for entertainment purposes only. So don't be fooled. Another dog whistle. Another dog whistle. The small farmers losing their contracts that was to assist them in, and did I really talk about, well, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm not sure if I talked about everything about that, but they're losing their federal funding to help them. And some of that federal funding was simply on a reimbursement, if I believe correctly. However, the way that I am looking at it, being as they are repeating so many laws, that this is another way, just like when Africa got colonized, when the UK, when the English were going over into Africa, and then of course South Africa got created with the diverse people that are there that are not originally of Africa in the southern region. And of course, that's everywhere around the world, but primarily for Africa, I'm talking about. When the French went over, when the Danish and all of that, they literally made laws that prevented farmers from growing their own food. They prevented people who had years and years of cultural way of being to where they provided their own source of living in communities and villages and so forth. They made it against the law to where you couldn't grow your own food. You can only grow it within these corporations over here. But that's okay, because you can come over here and grow the food, and we'll even give you money for working here, and then you can buy the things that you want to get. Let's apply that to now. If they eliminate the small farms, thus far it's not against the law to grow your own food, to have your own farm. But right now they're not making it easy. Why? Because they want to make it on a corporation level. All foods are being grown by corporations. Once again, corporations taking over our government. Our government is so corporation led. It's so knee deep. Yes, those type of changes need to be made, but it does not take somebody like Elon Musk up in there saying what you can and cannot have, and then he awards $300 million to his organizations. His. And the other thing that just came out, what one was it? Entity. I'll have to get it right. However, it will be, even though they're going to fire the federal employees and so forth, the people that he would be bringing over saying that they could help will be people for within his corporations. Remember we talked about that before. Those immigrants he has working that are from India that have that H-1B whatever number visa, and they have to work or they get deported back upon the agreement of their visa. It's a working visa. Of course, then it's also lower wages for these working visa individuals. Now you want to take those same individuals and place them in the places that you said that we didn't need any people working there? conflict of interest, anybody? Social Security. They're cutting the working people in the Social Security, in the forestry industry. Forest fires, anybody? And you cutting because you're saying that's not needed. And now Trump is saying, oh no, Elon isn't part of Doge. He is an advisor to the president. Oh, now we want to change the rules since there's so many complaints. But don't be fooled. Steamrolling is going to continue. It looks so bleak as far as what can we do as individuals up in this country upon the laws that have been created. I think that the people that are standing up, like that Chip Roy, he's a congressman from Texas, and he's been speaking up, and he's been giving numbers and so forth. He was the one that gave the number chart with the Social Security. The average person that receives Social Security, the number of it comes out to $65 a day for the average person. That's what they have to live on for their Social Security, $65 a day. Elon, on the other hand, with everything that he's receiving, $8 million a day. Ain't even from this country. It is so backwards. This immigration that they tout and tout and tout, but yet got somebody who's immigration status person, individual, whatever, kicking other people out within this country and their jobs and their employment. It's you don't need that. It's not necessary for you to have that. That's a bunch of bullshit if you ask me. I don't know where we're going to go with this, but it is what it is, and you do need to protect yourself on your own personal level. Prepare on your own personal level. I have seen before, this was before all of this came about, with him being the Doge department and all of that kind of stuff. I saw all of his businesses being confiscated by the government, to where he was deported out the country, so to speak, banned from the country, more like it, and the government took over all of his entities. I'm not saying Tesla company itself, but like the SpaceX and all that government contract stuff. Now, I don't know if it's going to come from this administration doing that after he's done all that he has done, and he's become a little bit too much of a nuisance next to Trump's side, even though he's by his side now simply because he paid all that money. Hey, Miss Amy, he paid all that money to help get Trump in there in the first place. So until he's worn out his welcome, this is where he is at. But I did see that. So I don't know if it's going to happen within this administration or later down the line. I'm just sharing what was coming to me then. And so I'm really shocked as to now. I'm shocked, but I'm not. It makes sense as to them to be a steamroller, to try to keep yourself out of jail, break the laws, and remove all evidence. We got in New York, Mayor Adams, whom I don't know exactly what he did, but he had charges that were brought up against him. And evidently he's made an agreement with the Trump administration, a quid pro quo, as far as you help with the immigration issue and we'll remove all charges. So the people within the Justice Department, even including his deputy mayors, I believe there's 5 of them, resigned. resigned. Now, the ones that are his deputy mayors, they are staying in place until the replacements come so that there's not a collapse. But they said, no, we won't do this. You have people whom are walking out of because the Trump administration have gotten rid of the individuals who investigate when something is of illegal manner. He done got rid of the investigators. He's getting rid of anybody that can hold anybody accountability to a form of accountability in their actions. I say shame on Mayor Adams in New York. Shame on you, because there was a time that you had all kind of stuff to say about Trump and his being illegal with his activities. Thank you, a little tongue-tied there. He had all kind of stuff to say about that. Oh, but now you want to be illegal activities yourself. So whatever you have coming towards you, you've earned it. So then I hope it's a good one. Oh, and I should say I'm observing that I hope it's a good one. I'm not being judgmental. It's just, I'm trying not to be judgmental. Because listen to this part too, this information. When it comes down to federal help, all of that comes about from everybody pays their taxes. The states then, upon everything that was filed, they send their portion to the government, and then the government disperses upon the federal government disperses to everybody based upon that. Now, do you know which states receive more federal assistance? It is the red states. They are the number one receivers of federal assistance in whatever form it may take place. Okay? The number one. And the least receiving federal assistance are the blue states. So when they get all this division going, continuing all this division going, we've already had one example of a red state such as Georgia asking for federal assistance to continue from a hurricane cleanup a hurricane that came through Georgia. And the response from the federal government, Rump administration, Diaper Don, was no. So there's an example of what's actually going to be going to these states. And when I spoke about before, paying attention to the laws that are being done in your state, because they can become national laws. Now, I did the Mississippi one as an example just a few minutes ago. But here in Georgia, they passed a law that you can apply for a voucher to receive funding for private school or homeschooling. Did anybody hear anything about public there? Dismantling the Department of Education. We are at the end of the school year, coming up on, well, not quite yet, it's February. May is just around the corner, the end of the school year. And then come August, school starts back up. People are going to be really surprised as to what is, as long as things are continuing on the path that they are. Yes, breakdown needs to occur. Yes, change needs to occur, but things can happen in a more benevolent way. There's going to be children that can't get school lunches. Teachers are going to be fired. Subjects are going to be removed. Do you know already? Trump has already said, for entertainment purposes only, that no public school will receive assistance if they require the COVID vaccination on the vaccine record that a child has to have in order to go into a public school. You have to show that you've had all your vaccines and all your shots and so forth. So if they require that you have COVID to keep this nastiness down, then you won't receive any funding. But remember, it's your money in the first place. What else do I have on here? Because if this isn't enough, whew. The student loans. Now, the judge ruled not to block the student. Now, before I speak more on that, I need to make sure I have that correct. So I'm not going to speak any more on that one. But I will say that colleges, and I've said it before, students that depend on federal assistance, you apply for your FAFSA so that you can go to school, to go to college. I think they're going to find out get a bunch of no's on that, because I have heard already people who currently are in school now, some of their courses, some of their classes and so forth got dropped because of the funding. It is affecting people already in many, many ways. Trickle down effect with businesses. I'm not going to say that, because I don't want to have, I need to make sure I have proof on that. HUD housing. HUD housing is housing assistance for the low income, single families whom need assistance with their housing, with their rent assistance, with the utility assistance, helping pay with their utilities because of higher winter prices, along those lines, as well as senior citizens in the HUD program that helps with their housing because they don't make enough to be able to provide for themselves with these high prices. All of that is to be cut. And do you know that it includes in the nursing homes, the elderly within the nursing homes? I heard somebody say you need to start cleaning out your garage or that extra room and be prepared for if you need to bring grandma back home, because they don't have the funding to be able so that she can be in a care facility. J.D. Vance already made that statement, talked about it on the campaign trail, saying that, well, if you need help with the daycare, if you need help with somebody watching the children, well, maybe you can ask grandma to watch, or maybe your uncle can help, or, the family members pitching in to help. Okay, that's fine and dandy and all, and I'm sure those who can already do. But that's not right. They still need to go make a living too. Everybody is being forced with these changes, but it's happening and it is what it is. All I'm doing is sharing what is happening now. Because if you do not know, if you do not pay attention, if you're not watching the news, because one thing about it, the news outlets aren't the same as what they used to be. I was watching some stuff because I watch both sides. I like to stay informed. And it is crazy to me, the narrative that is going to the right-leaning side and the ones that are still in it and believing it. Use some common sense, people, and think about it for yourself. And they're still getting it from some of these medias. They'll complain and say how mainstream media is feeding you false information and so on and so forth, yet they still continue to watch it and listen to it. You have to stay informed as to what is going on around you to keep you and yours together. Don't know how far this is going to go. These weather changes, I still feel large earthquakes coming. I still see 8.0s. We haven't had that, but I think we will. You need to prepare more than just canned goods and dry goods. Prepare, buy the extras. I know I've said it, I'll say it again. Don't be looking stupid, shocked, and silly when things just really get expensive, collapsing high, and you're like, what? What happened? Do you remember with the lockdown? And then people were, it's not easy to stay inside. Okay. But it happened, and it happened on a mass level, and there was a huge insistence on being out there to where it became a little bit ridiculous, to where there was record numbers and crowds and everything pushing. Now with the prices of eggs, do you know that more people are out having breakfast? It's like there's a push, another push, and I'm going to say this in two different ways. Either that's the same energy of pushing to, no, I'm going to have my eggs. I don't care how much they cost. Or is this a push of people with narratives so that more people will go buy the eggs? Yeah, let's buy these eggs. I don't care how much they cost. Well, if you're going to do it anyway, the price is what it is. But here's the difference. All those high prices that occurred after 2020 with everything, and the prices got to where they are, nobody complains about those prices anymore. Everybody just took it as normal. This is the way it is. Well, they're doing it again, in my opinion. They're doing it again because the eggs are becoming high because of this bird flu that is going around, that has now hit all 50 states. There are bird flu cases. People having this. The only thing is, it has not been passed person to person. So a lot of chickens have been destroyed, which is kind of like, I don't know, it's a word of oxymoron of they're making it seem so bad. Oh, all of these chickens have been killed because of the bird flu, and that's what's making the prices of eggs go up. Were these the same chickens that were going to be killed and eaten too? So, I found that one interesting. However, now, being as they've also are now killing cattle because of this same situation with the bird flu and so forth, and whatever virus is coming from the cattle, now beef is becoming more expensive. And that's now becoming the rhetoric. So pay attention as to what's going on, what will be aired on TV as to what they're talking about. So yeah, beef is now next of what they are talking about. For people like myself, I no longer eat meat like I once did. I loved me steak. I loved me some steak. I loved me some carne asada tacos. But we have to make it now in different forms. So if it means that you introduce new foods into your body, is something to do, because I know when I first stopped eating meat, I stopped that one from the blood type diet because I looked up my blood type diet. I Googled blood type diet A because that's what I am. And my number one thing said that I shouldn't eat was red meat. And so that was the reason why I cut that out. But when I did, I noticed changes to my body right away. Right away, I noticed changes. And then my own body forced me to cut out the meat. And so I just accepted it and went on about. Miss Amy made a comment. I don't see it now. Oh, maybe I can push this. Let's be adventurous and our techie. Nope. Wait a minute. All messages visible. Nope. Let's just stop. Okay. Oops. I'm going to stop messing with the buttons because it's not working out right. Anyway, about things changing evolutionary. I believe that's what it said. I don't want to push that X. I got this block up. I don't want to push that X because it might stop the streaming. Well, try. Okay, it went away. I promise you, I ask and receive for technology knowledge, and I am open and allowing technical knowledge and information to be received for me in the most benevolent way. I saw the word too much is going on with the meat now. That's why I said much. Yes. It's too much. It's too much going on. And you know what? Yesterday, I asked somebody, because the day before yesterday, my cat Dora, the tan one that you seen when I was reading, you wouldn't have seen unless you listened to The Mastery of Love. That was chapter 4. And then Dora, he jumped up on my lap. Yes, his name is Dora, and he is a boy. He jumped up on my lap, and so that's the one. But he's always out there. I'm always hearing him fighting and carrying on with other cats in the neighborhood. But he actually got met his somebody that was better than him, and another cat was chasing my poor little Dora baby. But I couldn't interfere because, they're going to do what they're going to do. Anyway, I was talking to someone and I said, I wonder if animals, in the same way that people are changing, because we are all connected, even the animals and us, we're all connected in one way or another on a spiritual level. So being as we are all going through our changes, I wonder if our pets are going to be able to, or we're going to be seeing differences within them. I don't know, but it was a thought that came to me. So that's something to maybe pay attention to and see if you notice those differences within your pets. And if so, well, then just chalk it up there with the changing times. And hopefully they don't bug out, hopefully they stay the loving individuals that they are. Yes. So, I've talked about a lot here. I was looking over my list that I was just writing stuff down really fast. But let us do this before we end. How about a oracle card from the ancestors? I have other decks, but I'm just using this one now. Can you see that? Secrets of the Ancestors Oracle. Okay. Let's see what our ancestors, the spirit, has to say today. Of all the stuff that I have said, I asked Spirit, my spirit guide, Seraphim. For those of you who don't know, Seraphim is my spirit guide. I asked one day, yes, Dairy too, what star sign are you? Okay, so with Western astrology, I am Aquarius. In Vedic astrology, I'm Cancer. I find it's more accurate with the description of hoops. There we go. Did you see that jumper? That was a jumper. Two once again. All right. I find that the description for Cancer is way more according to Vedic astrology. So if that answers your question. Aquarius with Western astrology. All right. So the two cards that jumped out. One is Mother of Fire, Shine and Rise. Can you see that? Look at that mommy and all her babies. Yes. And then the other one is Father of Fire, Passion Ignited. Can you see that? Yeah. Okay. So Okay, and the mother of fire is number 25, and the father of fire is 26. So let's start with 25. 25. Okay, 25. Yes, these are some great cards. All right, mother of fire. Shine and rise. Yes, own it all. The good, the bad, and the potentially ugly. Own your power. Living life by your own rules is not easy, but this is what is necessary for you. Let the haters hate. You enjoy the attention. You have the power of influence. Use it wisely. You got next. Is that correct English? You got next? All right, anyway. Many are warmed by the bridge light you shine. This makes you a magnet and social butterfly when you choose to be. Use your powers of influences for the good. My goodness, here's another one that I can't, this is for us all, but I can say it's resonating with me, so hopefully it's also resonating with you, okay? The ancestral memory behind this, the mother of fire shows up as Mitochondrial Eve, Mitochondrial Eve, whom science says is the first woman and most recent common ancestor for all living humans. Our Eve is from the Sand peoples of southern Africa. The ancestral medicine behind this. Kaboom. Guess who stepped in the room? You have inherited your ancestors' passion and enthusiastic penchant, penchant, for standing out. The shadow aspect, the reverse. Be aware of jealousy, deceit, and betrayal. Or are you the one being shady? Stop trying to preserve your image. Life is too short to be shallow. The tarot card to this was the Queen of Wands. And the affirmation, my confidence is magnetic. My confidence is magnetic. So, that was really, really good, don't you think? Thank you for that, Miss Amy. Now, the father of fire. Let's see what this is going to say. Father of fire. Passion ignited. Number 26. So that was 25 and this one's 26. Let's see here. If you have a yes or no question, Papa Fire steps forward as a clear yes. Have you been asking any questions? The time is now for that big, passionate vision. All things are possible. You are possible. Keep the enthusiasm up. Your qualities as a natural born leader are required. Get it done. As usual, you are trying to wear all the hats, but that will stagnate your growth. You need support in your current endeavor. Wow. Embrace your raw desires. You deserve unbridled pleasure. Be adventurous and fearless in pursuing new experiences. Excuse me, all this talking, taking in all this air. Okay. Pursuing. Okay, let me start that over since I lost my place, okay? Apologies. Embrace your raw desires. You deserve unbridled pleasure. Be adventurous and fearless in pursuing new experiences. Express your sensuality. Take the lead. Taking the lead is sexy in every aspect of your life. Now, the ancestral memory. The father of fire comes forward as the much feared, uber powerful Shango, the Yoruba Orisha of thunder and lightning. Shango was a king who became a deified ancestor. I swear I can read. I can't. Apology for any mispronunciations. I do try to pronunciate my words clearly. My mother was a stickler on that. Pronunciate your words clearly. I digress. The ancestral medicine. This is juicy, divine yang energy. It is safe to take charge with motivated action. Try EFT, emotional freedom techniques. Tapping. You done tapping? Tapping? Tapping to help you relax into your natural leadership. Who out there is to be a leader? Is this speaking to you? Says they have your back. Spirit has your back. Now the reverse to this, the shadow aspect. Don't be a rebel without a cause. Be aware of the extremes. Ego can lead you astray. How much have we been talking about ego lately, these few days? Arrogance can turn away love, opportunities, money, and joy. Making hasty decisions will block your blessing. We move from divine masculine to patriarchal energy. King of Wands was the tarot card to this. And our affirmation to this is, I am going for it. I am going for it. How did you like that? That was pretty good, I thought. Let's make sure we mix that back up in there so that they aren't sticking together at all. So that when we... Are you a rebel? Hey, I'm glad that's for you. I agree, because I believe it's who, when you appear into something, a video, it does not matter what point in time that it occurred. If you were there and you heard it, it was for you at that time. So, hey, power, Miss Amy, go for it. Be that rebel without a cause. But in this case, we need to be rebels with a cause because, yeah. So what did you take away from that? How did that apply to your personal life? How did that apply? And this is also for people who will see this in the future, because yes, it's during the day here in the States. How did that apply to your personal life and what is going on around you? Now, I do want to keep it spiritual, and I have read this book. So this is The Children of the Law of One and the Lost Teachings of Atlantis. I read the whole first part of this book. I didn't read the second part because it was just a lot of exercises and instructions on, like, if you want to record a audio tape or whatever for you to listen to for your own self programming or whatever you want to call it. That's a harsh word, programming. Anyway, so I thought that I would read. Have you been listening? You listened to the book, didn't you, Miss Amy? So within that, okay, I'm going to read. Okay, I'm gonna leave it up to you. I'm gonna give these titles. Yeah, maybe so. Yes, okay. I take that challenge, Miss Amy. I take that challenge. So when all the technological information sinks in and I can get it of how to do this with the different cameras and angles. Anyway, I digress. So I'm going to give you the choice. Which one do you want me to read? The pineal wave, planetary polarity attunement, or mirror exercise chanting. Okay, so okay, so pineal wave, planetary polarity attunement, Or you said all of the above. Let's save some for next time. Or mirror exercise chanting. Okay, pineal wave first. Got it. So, pineal wave. The pineal wave is a technique that dates way back to the earliest days of the children of the law of one. In fact, it dates back to a time before we even had fully physical or male/female's bodies. Its purpose is to empower and cleanse our soul in the very center of the earth. It also provides rejuvenation and attunement with the energies of the earth. Let's make this easier and put a pillow so I don't have to go so far down. Okay, now this is how it's done. Stand erect, feet together. Visualize your pineal gland, which is located approximately between the ears and behind the eyes in the center of the head. Okay, let me repeat that again. Visualize your pineal gland, which is located approximately between the ears and behind the eyes in the center of the head. And for those who do not know, Toad, you know how he has that staff and it has that eye on it? That's the pineal gland, because I saw an image that the brain that was cut in half, and the pineal gland is in the center of what looks like an eye, and it's in the middle. Interesting how it's in the center of your head and it looks like the eyes and it's behind the eyes. Anyway, let me continue with the book. This is the place of the seventh chakra and is called the seat of the soul. It is the home of the spark of life, the spiritual part of us that gives our bodies life. Visualize your pineal as a ball of white light energy. Inhale, maintaining the visualization, then exhale sharply, shooting the ball of light down through your body, deep into the very center point of the earth. Let me read that again. Visualize your pineal as a ball of white light energy. Inhale, maintaining the visualization, then exhale sharply, shooting the ball of light down through your body, deep into the very center point of the earth. The center of the earth is beyond molten lava. It is like an inner sun. It is a significant energy center. After shooting your ball of light down into the earth, allow it a second or two to reach the earth's center. Then begin to inhale again slowly, feeling the energy come up from the earth, then up into your body and back to the pineal. Repeat at least 3 times. So this is one of the exercises that is in the book that comes from one of the ancient Buddhist monk temples. Were they Buddhist? I digress on that one. But one of the temples that was foretold, Edgar Cayce even spoke of it, that someone named John would release the lost teachings of Atlantis. So this information is from Atlantis, some of the teachings he got there. So that was the pineal wave. So you can do that exercise, and then next time I'll read another passage. But yeah, that's an exercise that you can do. I've done one of the other exercises in there called the star exercise. you have to hear the Book of Thought. If you haven't, it's on to part 3 of book collection. Okay, I'll check it out because he spoke about in this a lot. I've seen some stuff. I just never ventured because my focus was still here. Anyway, not anyway to you, Miss Amy. Anyway to me. So, I did it again. I forgot to send out the invitation. So, I'm sending the invitation. I would like to invite you to push that subscribe button and join us. So I did stop on that. The star technique, I did a short on it. It's either a short or a video. I don't recall quite. However, I did it using AI technology, an AI app. So it is my voice. It is my voice, but I put all the information from this book into that. So the star exercise is to where you can have a look on how it's done. And that was the exercise in the book when John spoke about how when you're in the circle that everybody knows that you don't walk up on that circle when that exercise that is being taken place, because he spoke about one person that did and how they got knocked back from the energy because it was so strong. Pretty cool, huh? I think so anyway. So please subscribe, like, and share. Thank you so much for taking the time to come on and listen to me talk. Wasn't necessarily a rant, but it was very informing as to talking about, if you didn't know, now you know. Yes, knock me down. And remember, I am light, I am love, I am all that I am, and so are you. So until the next time, have the most benevolent day.